Hello, Caroline Flanagan here, very excited, very proud author of Be the First, People of Colour, Imposter Syndrome and the Struggle to Succeed in a White World. I thought I'd take a moment 2 days before launch day, Friday the 26th of February 2021, to talk about where I got the idea for this book. So it's 2019 and I'm standing off stage watching a room fill up with lawyers and their clients who typically make up my audience. And I remember that night being impressed by how many people had decided to brave the wind and the rain after a long day in the office. Remember those days when people left their houses each day and went to work in real offices? When we got to actually leave an office to go and attend a talk and an event or meet some friends? Those days. So there they were, all coming to attend this talk on imposter syndrome. And you know, it never ceases to amaze me how popular these talks are and how deeply they resonate with that particular audience, people who are performing at the highest level. They all seem so confident in their success, but internally, it's a different story. So about 10 minutes into my talk, I get to that pivotal moment in my story when, looking around me on the first day of primary school, I realised I was the only black pupil, not in the class, but in the whole school. Now, to help the audience get the sense of how lonely, how isolating that felt, I use the expression one black face in a sea of white faces. Now, I know it's a strong image, but I do it deliberately to convey this loneliness, this isolation. And I pause for just long enough to let the image sink in. So my eyes are scanning the room, taking in what was the all too familiar sea of white faces in front of me. But suddenly they stopped, because there in about the third row from the back, what do I see? I see a lone black face. It was exactly what I'd been describing. One black face in a sea of white faces. Now, the reason why this is so remarkable is because it rarely happens, certainly 2019. I am a coach and a speaker to the corporate world. My audience typically is made up of lawyers, bankers, other high earners, high achievers in the city. And whether I'm on a real stage or a virtual one, as is typically the case right now, I am almost always the only person of colour in the room. And the audience, almost all of them, are white. Now, one of the takeaways from my talks on imposter syndrome, as you'd expect, is a deeper knowledge and understanding of what imposter syndrome is and how it works. So you'll learn, and I'll refresh your memory, you'll learn that imposter syndrome is that feeling that you're a fraud. It's the belief that your success is down to luck, and it's that awful fear, that anxiety that any minute now you're going to be tapped on the shoulder and exposed for the fraud you think you are. You'll also discover that perfectionism, stress, playing small, avoiding opportunities that could elevate your career, these are all symptoms of imposter syndrome. But the feedback from these events tells me that for most people in the room, one of the greatest takeaways of all is the discovery, not only the discovery that how they've been feeling is a thing and it's got a name, but the realization that imposter syndrome is everywhere and you're not alone. But not if you're black. If you're the black woman in the third row from the back or a person of colour like her, it's different. You don't leave the room feeling more connected and with this renewed sense of belonging. When you go back to work at your law firm, your accounting firm, your bank in the city, you are still the only black face in the room. You still feel very much alone. So the day I saw that one black face in a sea of white faces, I felt such a strong connection between what I could so clearly imagine her battles against imposter syndrome and the battles I have fought my whole life. This is not just a battle against feeling like an imposter on the inside, an internal thing. This is an external thing. It's a battle against a system outside of you that because of how uninclusive it is, makes you feel that you are an imposter, sends you messages that you don't belong. And what this means is that all of those solutions that didn't work for me in the past, solutions like tell yourself you deserve to be there, think of your past successes, fake it till you make it, you can do it. All those quite common solutions that are offered for solving imposter syndrome and conquering it, they didn't work for me. They wouldn't work for her either. And I thought about the success I achieved in reaching this point in my career and the battles I've fought and managed to win over the years and the battles that she is fighting. And I felt driven, like a compulsion, a need to share what I'd learned about winning battles that you think you can't win and tackling imposter syndrome so that you can go on to fulfill your potential and feel a lot less lonely, a lot less like the only one in the room. Caroline Flanagan here. Sorry, can't say my name, too excited. Caroline Flanagan, proud author of Be the First. Very excited. Thank you so much for listening. If you are listening to this before Friday the 26th, don't forget to sign up to my fantastic panel event book launch. It's on Friday morning at 9 a.m. You do have to register. It is free, but you must register. I'll put the link down below. And I am going to be joined by Scott Morrison, Daniel Winterfelt, and Dr. Joanna Abeyi, 3 powerhouse personalities. And we're going to be discussing actually whether we should be celebrating the first and all sorts of good stuff around that. Thanks again for listening. Really excited. I'm going to do another video tomorrow, so do tune in. I'm going to talk about how the idea for this book became a decision and a commitment to write it. I will speak to you soon. Bye for now.